Good night, my friends of the darkness. Tonight, the night is longer, and Halloween's darkest secrets are about to be revealed. So, grab your headphones, turn up the volume, and prepare to hear stories that will chill your spine. Because what you're about to hear aren't tales of fantasy. They're real accounts of fear, terror, and nightmares that happen on the scariest night of the year. Cuddle up in the shadows. The first story begins now. Story 1, Kidnapping on Halloween Night. It was Halloween, a night that should have been filled with laughter, candy, and costumes. But for 3 teenage girls in Woodbridge, Virginia, that night would become a nightmare they would never forget. The party was over. Laughter still echoed through the neighborhood as they walked home. The streets were empty, lit only by faded streetlights and the orange lights of pumpkins. Everything seemed normal, until a car pulled up next to them. A man invited them for a ride, saying he was lost. He seemed calm, even kind, and no one suspected the approaching danger. When they accepted the ride, something changed. The man's smile disappeared, and the car began moving toward deserted, unfamiliar streets. One of them tried to text, but the connection failed. Fear grew by the minute, their hearts raced, and the darkness seemed to swallow everything around them. The man threatened them, and terror became palpable. Every second felt like an eternity. They didn't know if they would make it out of that night alive, and the feeling of helplessness was suffocating. But one of them found courage. A simple gesture, a desperate scream, a plea for help. And luckily, the police arrived in time to intervene, saving them all before the worst happened. They survived, but the memory of that night remains vivid. Halloween, which was supposed to be sweet, turned into something dark and dangerous. And even today, some people say that, when walking through deserted streets on Halloween night, they feel like someone is watching, that shadows move strangely, and that danger may be closer than they imagine. This is proof that terror doesn't need ghosts or monsters. Sometimes, it's real, hiding in the darkness of the night that everyone believes is just fun. Story 2, Deadly Trick or Treat. Halloween. A night of costumes, candy, and laughter. But in 1974, in the heart of Texas, an innocent tradition turned into a nightmare. Ronald Clark O'Brien, a seemingly ordinary man, prepared a surprise, one no one could have imagined. He was planning for the happiest night of the year to turn deadly. His candy was scattered about, packaged so it seemed harmless, but it hid a terrible secret: cyanide. A poison capable of ending a life in minutes. And he had a target, his own son. Children knocked on doors, filling their bags with candy. The 8-year-old, unaware of the danger, took the candy offered by his own father. Joy turned to despair when the boy began to feel ill. He screamed for help, but it was too late. The poison spread quickly, and the minutes became eternity. Other children had also received candy. Poisoned. But luckily, no one else was affected. The police arrived, investigators found evidence of the macabre plot, and the truth shocked the entire community. What should have been a night of laughter became a dark warning. Danger isn't always invisible. Sometimes it comes wrapped in colorful bows and candy inside. Halloween would never be the same in that town. The man was arrested, convicted, and the memory of that night remains as a silent warning. Not all monsters wear masks. Not all threats come from the dark. Sometimes they're right before our eyes, smiling, offering candy. And as you watch this video, imagine how many of the sweets you receive today are actually harmless. Terror can be hidden in the sweetest things in life. Story 3: Kidnapping on Halloween Night. Halloween, the night when the world seems to turn upside down. Children in costumes, echoing laughter, flickering lights. But some nights hide horrors that should never exist. In 2009, in a quiet neighborhood in Woodbridge, Virginia, a group of teenagers experienced exactly that. What began as fun ended in absolute despair, when a strange man approached, smiling, offering help. At that moment, they didn't know they were about to enter a real nightmare. The man seemed harmless, even kind, but he quickly revealed himself to be dangerous. He forced them into his car, and they found themselves trapped in a dark space, unsure of where they were going. The darkness around them seemed alive, every second suffocating. Cell phones without signal, deserted streets, and a silence that amplified every breath, every heartbeat. One of the teenagers managed to send out a small cry for help, a scream almost inaudible. And, miraculously, the police responded in time, intercepting the car and saving everyone before it was too late. They survived, but the memory of that night lives on, like a shadow looming over every Halloween. Because true terror doesn't come only from monsters or ghosts. It can be hidden behind a smile, behind a mask, waiting for the perfect night to strike. So, when you go out to celebrate, remember, not everything that seems innocent is safe, and Halloween, sometimes, is much more than just a candy party. And so our tales end, stories that began as fun and ended in true terror. Halloween, which should be all laughter and candy, can hide horrors no one imagines. Remember, not all monsters wear masks, not all dangers lie behind locked doors. Some are closer than you think, lurking in the darkness, waiting for the right moment. If you felt chills, if shivers ran down your spine, know that fear doesn't end here. It remains, in the shadows, in the wind, on Halloween nights. And who knows, next time, you'll be the protagonist of a story no one will tell. Good night, my friends of the darkness, and beware of what might be watching you.